Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Beth and I am the Bookworm trait. So I'm really excited for this video. I'm sure you realise what this is by now because you clicked on it, you've seen the description, but this is Sims Picks My TBR. Now I'm a huge book lover, obviously, and I'm also a huge Sims lover, if you didn't guess from the name. So I wanted to incorporate my two loves together, as well as doing a fun reading challenge. Now on my shelves, most of these books I have not read. I have a bit of a problem. I buy a book and then I don't read it. I'll go and download an audiobook or an ebook from Scribd, Kindle, Audible, and it won't be something on my shelves and I'll just read like that. So I'm really bad for reading these books. So just to explain a little bit how this is going to work, I have assigned every single trait in The Sims, as well as the bonus traits, with either a book or a prompt. I didn't have quite enough books to fill all of the different traits, so for the traits that were left over I've put a little challenge such as read a new release or something like that. This also means that I do have the freedom to still read from Audible. Well, you don't read from Audible, but you know what I'm trying to say. Still read from Scribd, still pick up new books that are not on my shelves if I want to. Now this will only pick 4 books for me. Again, it gives me a bit of freedom. I am very much a mood reader, but if I have a set TBR, it pushes me to read a lot more than if I just allow myself to read what I pick up when I pick it up. So through this challenge I am hoping to not only read more of the lovely books on these shelves, but also I want to push myself to read more. Now this is the second time filming this video, so you will not see my first time reactions to the books that were picked this month, but I will insert a clip here of the random trait generator I used to select my books for this month. Now there's a couple of ways that you can randomly select traits for Sims. You can do it in The Sims just using the random trait generator, but this won't pick an aspiration and therefore you wouldn't get a bonus trait. You can also do make a story, which will randomly select both your traits and your aspiration, but to do this you need to do a quiz, and obviously my own feelings would be coming across in that. I want this to be really random, so I used this random trait generator, hopefully there will be a video here, to randomly pick the traits. So the traits that I got were loves the outdoors, goofball, loves music, and quick learner. So the book that I picked to go alongside the trait loves the outdoors is Sea Witch Rising. The reason I selected this book to fulfill the trait loves the outdoors is because I've read The Sea Witch, hence why I'm reading the second one in the series, and I just felt that the role of nature was really dominant in the book. And it was a very atmospheric read. You could really feel like you were there. They lived in this little seaside village and it just, the whole nature around them really spoke to me in that book. So I'm imagining we will have similar sorts of themes within Sea Witch Rising. So Sea Witch Rising is, I believe, a Little Mermaid retelling. The Sea Witch is an origin story for Ursula, although she's not called Ursula in the Sea Witch, and I believe this one goes along with the story of the Little Mermaid. So we have a mermaid who wants to be a human, who wants to fall in love with a prince, and the Sea Witch helps her to do that. I actually think this focuses on the sister of the Little Mermaid, who knows that her sister's quest is not going to have a happy ending and is trying to bargain with the Sea Witch to avoid anything bad happening to her sister. So I'm really excited to read this. I absolutely loved The Sea Witch. I gave it 4 stars, so I'm hoping this will be another high rating from me. For the trait Goofball, I selected not this book. It's one of the later ones in the series which I don't own the physical copy of, and that is And Then He Ate My Boy in Trances. So this is the Georgia Nicholson series, and the reason I picked it to go with the Goofball trait is because it is a really silly, light-hearted and funny read, which I feel goes very well with being a goofball. Georgia is definitely a goofball, and so I just thought it would fit really well with this prompt. This is quite an old series. It's from the noughties, I believe, early noughties, and it was a book that I read when I was a teenager, and I never got to the end of this. I never finished this series. There's about 9 books I think in the series, and I kind of just grew out of it. I didn't read a lot when I was kind of at university, and therefore I just never finished this series, so I never found out who Georgia ended up with at the end. So I'm really looking forward to finding that out. I have rated every book in this series 4 stars, but one thing I will say is that this book has not stood the test of time. So if you are sensitive to fat shaming or homophobia, then you may find this book a bit tricky, and so in that case I wouldn't read it. It's not really homophobia, but there's like joking about lesbians in this quite a lot. So yeah, if you're sensitive to that, stay away from it. If you're not and you're looking for something that's really easy and funny to read, I would highly recommend this. So for the trait music lover, I selected The Queen's Poisiner. I selected this for this prompt because this is supposed to have lovely lyrical writing in it, and I'm not gonna lie guys, I'm not hyped to read this book. So The Queen's Poisiner is your typical high fantasy-esque story. It follows the son of a duke called Owen, who has been taken hostage by an evil king after his father tries to overthrow him. The king has said to the duke that if he does anything bad again, he's gonna make Owen pay for it. But the duke has stepped out of line again, and Owen knows that his life is in danger. Owen must prove to the king that he is worth keeping alive, and in doing so he is aided by a mysterious woman. This was a book that was gifted to me as part of a book swap. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this. I tend to stay away from very high fantasy type books because I tend to lose interest in them. But I do love lyrical writing, so maybe this will be a win for me. At the very least, at least I will be able to try it and hopefully get it off my shelves one way or another. And for my final trait, which was Quick Learner, I picked Truly Devious. The reason I picked this to go along with this trait is because Truly Devious is, I believe anyway, set in a school, learner, you get where I'm going with this. Truly Devious is about a girl named Stevie who is going to a prestigious academy. I think it's called Ellington Academy. When this academy opened, the founder's wife and child were murdered by a murderer known only as Truly Devious. Stevie wants to uncover who this is, but when she arrives at the academy, Truly Devious makes a reappearance and murders begin again. This is another book that I'm really hyped for. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. So yeah, so out of the 4 books picked for me this month, I am really excited to read 3 of them and a little bit more apprehensive about the 4th. In addition to those 4 books, I'm also going to be reading The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King in anticipation for the release of Queen of Nothing in November. I loved both of these books. I gave them both 4 stars. So I'm looking forward to reading them once again. For those of you who don't know, which I don't imagine there's very many of you, The Cruel Prince follows the story of Jude, who has been kidnapped from the human world and raised as the child of another fairy. This book is all about dark fae politics with an enemies to lovers trope, which is largely enemies. I really love these books. I do think they're a little bit problematic, but I don't care. I still love them. I will also be participating in a buddy read with my reading group. We pick a book every month. We haven't picked our book yet this month, so I'm not sure what we're going to be reading, but you'll surely see it in one of my vlogs, so stay tuned. It could be one of these books anyway. I've put my suggestions forward and it is Truly Devious, The Cruel Prince and The Queen's Poisiner. For the traits that have been taken this month, I will add new books in or new prompts for next month, and I will also include a list of where we currently I will also provide a list of what is currently in my prompts list in the description below if you care to take a look. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up or a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed this or you think I could do anything differently. Maybe I could include a creator sim portion in this video. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. And hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!